Okay, hi again. If you've seen my first video for today, you got to see me in some kind of awesome slow motion. I don't know how I did it. You know, Miss G is really struggling to learn this technology stuff. It's not my cup of tea. Okay, so I'm not sure what you are able to hear in the slow motion video. I can't remember. I cringed and laughed too much to remember. So I'm just gonna start this all over. When Grayson heard that I had to remake the video, he wanted me to tell everybody hi. So hello from Grayson. Okay, so here's our question for today. It says, teach me Tuesday. So what do you know that you could teach me? Okay, now that Morgan has taught me that there is a comment section of YouTube, you can comment on the video and tell me what it is you would like to teach me if you could. Or you can email me, which there is my school email, or you can send it to me on Class Dojo. So there are the options, and I will put I know that's kind of hard to see because my email is this long, so I have to write small. Anyway, I'll put it in the description, another new thing about YouTube I've learned, and you can send it there. All right, so we read chapters 6 and 7 yesterday, and we learned that, I have to think now because I've read 8 and 9 today already once, so I have to make sure I don't tell you anything. Okay, so we learned yesterday in chapter 6 and chapter 7 that Marty's friend has now come back from wherever it was he was at. So I think he was on vacation, like to see his aunt or something. And it's summer break where he lives. So his friends haven't been around. So he's been able to keep Shiloh on this hill and nobody know that he's there. And we know that Judd Travers has already come by and has asked if Marty has seen his dog. And he said, no, I have not seen him in the yard. And now Marty is justifying these lies to himself because he says, well, it wasn't all a lie. Some of it was not true, but I really haven't seen him in the yard. Wink, wink. Like, I've seen him, just not in the yard. But we know that we should not ever tell a lie. That is not going to get us anywhere. And as Marty learns later, he gets himself wrapped up in it can mess stuff up. He's told so many lies now that people are starting to figure it out. We'll just leave it at that. Okay. So he's sneaking food off the table and not eating everything himself so that he can feed Shiloh. And he goes to this friend's house that he hasn't seen. And he asks the mom for an extra half of a sandwich so he can eat it on the way home. But really, he is just taking it to Shiloh. And he knows that his mom would absolutely just be beside herself if she knew that he asked for an extra half of a sandwich. Because now it seems like, now she's going to think that the other parent is going to think, oh my goodness, you don't feed that kid. When really, it's not anything like that at all. She does feed her son, and he is just sneaking food off the table to the dog. Okay, so then all the money, the little bit of change that he's been able to collect from picking up the cans off the side of the road and trading them in and recycling them, he has now decided he's going to go to the grocery store and he is going to ask the general store owner if he has any old expired stuff that he would just have to throw away that he could buy for the spare change he has. And now his dad would absolutely be mortified if he knew that Marty is going to the general store or the grocery store and trying to buy expired food. So of course the manager, the owner, says, yes, here's this food, and takes his change. And he thinks, the guy thinks that it's for the family. And he says, I just really hope your family doesn't get sick eating this. But Marty doesn't want to tell him, oh, it's not for my family, because then he has to explain what it is for. Okay, so let's see what kind of trouble that Marty can get himself into now. Okay, so chapter 8. The next 2 days go by smooth as buttermilk. Shiloh gets biscuits or toast and a couple bites of ham for breakfast, and then in the evening I fix him up some frankfurters, cut up and mixed with sour cream and little chunks of cheese. He don't much like the cheese. It sticks to his teeth and he turns his head sideways when he chews, trying to get it off. He licks his chops afterwards, though. He throws up the first time he eats the stuff. It's too rich for his belly, I guess. But after that, he manages to keep it down. And all the while, he's fattening out a little. Each day, it's harder to see his ribs. I know my secret can't go on forever, though. I've only had the dog for 6 days. And that evening, I find out that Judd Travers wants to hunt our land, up the hill and over the far woods. He thinks maybe he could find himself some quail over there, he says. When Dad tells us that piece of news at dinner, my whole body goes cold. I want to jump up and scream, no! But I just grip my chair and wait it out. Ray, I don't like that idea at all, Ma says. You never asked to hunt on his land, and I don't want him hunting on ours. If we let him, we've got to let anyone else who asks, and one of those shots could find its way down here. Well, I'll tell him no, Dad says. I don't like the idea of it myself. I'll tell him the kids can play up there. I stop gripping the chair, but my heart still goes on thumping hard. I'm thinking of how Judd Travers was a hold of the idea that I might have his dog. And he's looking for an excuse to snoop around. Having Shiloh as secret is like a bomb waiting to go off. Next day, Dad comes home with more news. Good news to him, bad news to me. Well, I can't figure it out, he says, walking through the door with a sack in his hands. Folks are taken to leaving me food in their mailboxes, Lou. Well, it used to be it was just Mrs. Ellison and her banana bread. But I found me a ham sandwich today in Nora Klingle's box and a half a baked pie in the Sanders. Do I look thin to you or something? Ma laughs. Well, maybe it's just you're the best mail carrier they've ever had on the route. Well, we got us a half a pie for dessert tonight anyway, Dad says. Oh, brother, I say to myself. Maybe Mr. Wallace is doing more talking than I figured. He wouldn't come right out and tell folks I was in a store buying cheap food, but he might just pass it around that the Preston families is in hard times and suddenly food just starts appearing. That's the way it is around here. The next day, Ma rides into town with Dad, taking the girls along, and goes shopping for new sneakers for Dara Lynn and socks and underpants for Becky. The first time I have the whole place to myself, and I let Shiloh run pure free. I bring him down the hill into the house, and I feed him the heels off a loaf of new bread, all the leftover sausage from breakfast, and a bowl of milk, and then I let him lick the oatmeal pan. I show him every one of our 4 rooms. I hold him in my lap on the porch swing and laugh when he tries to stand up on the seat by himself while the swing's moving. I let him smell the couch where I sleep and crawl under the front steps to sniff out the mole that lives under there. I follow him all over creation when he takes out after a rabbit. Then he gives up when he sees I'm not going to shoot that rabbit anyway. But I figure my luck's going to run out if I don't get him back to his pen soon. So about noon, I take him back and he goes right to the gunny sack in the lean-to. He's so tuckered out. It's just in time because when I get back and I get the dishes down for Ma and the house picked up some, I look out and here she comes up the lane with Dara Lynn and Becky and their packages. Somebody gave them a lift. You can always count on that around Friendly. Ma's pleased I've got the dishes done, I can tell. It's nice to come back to a clean house, Marty, she tells me. I had good luck with my shopping, too. Wasn't a thing I bought that wasn't on sale. Dara Lynn's worn her new sneakers home, and she's got a blister already. She doesn't care. She's so glad to have something new. When I walk in the kitchen next, Ma's looking at her face in the mirror over the sink. She got her eyebrows raised high, and then she pushes them low, and then she raises them again. When she sees me studying her, she says, Well, Marty, do I have frown lines on my face? Tell me the truth now. I look at her good. Well, I sure don't see any, I say. I don't neither. My ma's got a pretty face, plain but smooth. Well, I don't know either, but 2 people this morning asked me how I was feeling, and one of them wants to tell me what to take for headaches. I figure that if folk thinks I have a headache, I must be doing a lot of frowning. Whop, whop, whop. That's my heart. Folks think they're getting a remedy for something, they'll tell you whether you need it or not, I say. I sound so grown up, I hardly recognize myself. I'm so scared on the inside, though, my stomach's shaking. Ma's taken out all the things she bought and putting them on the table, taking the price tags off Becky's underpants and socks. Well, I saw David's mother at the dollar store, she says, and they've got relatives coming in tonight. She wanted to know if she could bring David up here tomorrow when the rest of them go to Parkersburg. I told her yes. Okay, I say, but after all the while I'm thinking, what am I going to do to keep David off that hill? Take him towards the old Shiloh schoolhouse maybe and walk along the river. Funny thing is, you've got yourself a dog, you sometimes feel like you don't need anyone else. It used to be I'd be waiting at the window for David Howard to come up here for a visit. Nobody else loves you as much as a dog, except your ma, maybe. That's right. Ma made us fried chicken for supper. First time in a long while. I put away a wing and a thigh on a saucer. To eat later, I tell Ma. And add a spoonful of squash, which might be good for Shiloh's insides. He eats just about anything. The frankfurters and cheese and sour cream is all gone, so I gotta be watching for table scraps again, and I gotta go out can collecting soon. Dad's working on the pickup after dinner, changing the oil. Becky and Dara Lynn's turning somersaults in the grass, and Ma's cleaning the kitchen. Soon as her back is turned, I sneak the food off the saucer and I head up the hill to see Shiloh. I can tell Shiloh likes fried chicken better than he likes the sour cream frankfurter mess he's been eating all week. He even eats the squash, and then he licks my hands and the fingers to get all the salt off, any place I touched a piece of chicken. Since I'd already taken him all over creation that morning, I didn't feel that he'll miss much if I don't take him out again. So I go around scooping up all the dog dew like I do every day, and I toss it over the fence, and then I lay down on my back in the grass and cover my face with my arms, our favorite game. Shiloh goes nuts trying to uncover my face, nudging at my arms with his nose, tail going 90 miles an hour. He never whines like some dogs do, though. Even when we're out in a far meadow racing the wind, he'll start to bark and I'll say, "Shh, Shiloh," and he stops right off. I wish I could let him make a little noise. It's not natural, I know, to keep an animal so quiet. But he's happy quiet, not scared quiet, and I know that much. I move my arms off my face after a while and I let him rest his paws on his chest. I'm lying there petting his head and he's got his happy dog smile on his face. The breeze is blowing cool air in from the west, and I figure I'm about as happy right there as you can get in your whole life. And then I hear someone say, "Marty?" And I look up, and there's Ma. Uh-oh. Chapter 9. I can't move. It seems as if the sky's swirling around above me, tree branches going every which way. Ma's face even looks different from down on the ground. Shiloh, of course, goes right over, tail wagging, but the steam's gone out of me. "How long have you had this dog up here?" she asks, not one trace of a smile on her face. I sit up real slow and I swallow. About a week, I guess. "You had Judd's dog up here about a week, and you told him you didn't know where it was." Well, I didn't say I didn't know. He asked if I'd seen him, and I said I hadn't seen him in our yard. That much was true. Ma comes around to the trunk of the pine tree, unfastens the wire that's holding the fence closed, and lets herself in. She crouches down in the soft pine needles, and Shiloh starts leaping up on her with his front paws, looking at her face. I can tell at first how she feels about him, the way she leans back away from his dripping tongue. Then I see her hand reach out with its short, smooth fingers and stroke him. "So, we've got ourselves a secret," she says at last. And I hear her say "we." I feel somewhat better. Not a lot, but some. "How come you to follow me up here tonight?" I want to know. Now I can tell for sure her eyes are smiling, but her lips are still set. Well, I had my suspicions before, but it was the squash that did it. The squash? Marty, I never knew you'd eat more than a couple bites of squash in your whole life. And when you put a spoonful of that to eat later, I knew for sure you weren't doing the eating. And then the way you've been sneaking off every night. She stops stroking Shiloh's head and turns on me. "I wish you'd told me." "Well, I figured you'd make me give him back." "This dog doesn't belong to you, Marty." "Well, he's mine more than Judd's," I say hotly. "He's only paid money for him, but I'm the one that loves him." "Well, that doesn't make him yours. Not in the eyes of the law, it doesn't." "Well, what kind of law is it, Ma, that lets a man mistreat a dog?" Ma just sighs, and then she starts stroking Shiloh's head. Shiloh wiggles a few inches closer to her on his belly, rests his nose against her thigh, tail going quick-whack, quick-whack. Finally, Ma says, "Your dad don't know about him, does he?" I shake my head. More silence. Then she says, "I never kept a secret from your dad in 14 years we've been married." Here's Ellie Belly, everyone. She gotta have her lovin's, too. She hears me reading about Shiloh. Let's see. I lost my spot, sorry. Let's see, 14 years. Where's that at? Sorry. Oh, Ellie sees people walking. No, Ellie, be good. They're just walking. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I lost my spot. There it is. I shake my head, more silence. Then she says, I never kept a secret from your dad in the 14 years we've been married. You ain't gonna tell him? Marty, I've got to. He ever finds out about this dog and knows that I knew but I didn't tell him? How could he trust me? If I keep this one secret from him, he'll think that there are more. He'll make me give him back to Judd, Ma. I could hear my voice shaking now. You know he will. What else can we do? I can feel hot tears in my eyes now, and I try to keep them from spilling out. I turn my head till they go away. If Judd Travers ever comes here to get this dog, he'll have to fight me to get it. Marty, listen, Ma, just for one night, promise me you won't tell Dad so I can figure something out. I can tell she's thinking on it. You're fixing to run off with this dog, aren't you? Marty, don't you ever run away from a problem. I don't answer because that very thing did cross my mind. I can't promise not to tell your dad tonight if you can't promise not to run away. I won't run off, I say. Then I won't tell him tonight. Or in the morning either, I add. I gotta have at least one day to think. Don't know what good it'll do, though. I've already thought till my brains are dry. Ma puts out both hands now and scratches behind Shiloh's ears, and he licks her all up and down her arms. His name's Shiloh, I tell her real pleased. After a while, Ma gets up. You gonna come back to the house now? In a bit, I answer. It's hard to say how I feel after she leaves. I'm glad in a way that somebody knows, that I don't have to carry on this whole secret in my head alone, but more scared than glad. I had me just one day to think on what to do, and not any closer to an answer than I'd been before. I'd spent all my can money on stuff to feed Shiloh. Only money I have now to my name is a nickel I found out by the road. And Judd won't sell me Shiloh's spit for a nickel. My first thought is to give him back to somebody else, and not to tell him whose dog it is, and then tell Ma that Shiloh would run off. But that would be 2 more lies to add to the pack. Word would get out somehow or another, and Judd would see David Howard or Mike Wells walking his dog, and then the war would really start. All I can think of is to take Shiloh down to Friendly the next day, draw me up a big sign that says, Free, World's Best Dog, or something, and hold it up along the road to Sistersville, hoping that some stranger would drive by and get a warm spot in his heart for Shiloh, stop his car, and take him home. And I won't ask him where home is either, so when Ma asks me where the dog is, I can tell her I honestly don't know. When I get back to the house, Dad's just washing up at the pump using grease to get the oil off his arms. He's yelling at Darylyn and Becky, who are playing in the doorway, screen wide open, letting in the moths. I go inside, and Ma's putting the dishes away in the kitchen, lifting them out of the drain rack and stacking the plates on the shelf. She's got the radio on and is humming along with a country music song. If you want to come home to, it's the one to bake my bread. It's you to light my fire. She sort of blushes when she sees me there by the refrigerator listening to her song. P.S. I'm not a singer. I know I'm not going to sleep much that night. I sit on the couch staring at the TV, but not really watching. Ma gives Becky her bath. Then I wait till Darylyn is out, and I take my own. I don't know if I soaped up or not. Don't even know if I washed my feet. I go back to the living room, and Ma has my bed made up on the sofa. The house gets dark, the doors close, and just the night sound come from outside. I know there's a piece of cardboard somewhere out in the shed I can print on. There won't be any trouble getting Shiloh or Friendly either. I'll put the rope on his collar, and he'll follow along good as anything. We won't take the main road, though, in case Judd's out in his truck. Take every back road I can find. Then I'll plant myself on the road to Sistersville, holding that sign. Shiloh waiting beside me, wondering what's it we're going to do next. What am I fixing to do anyway? Give him to the first car that stops? I don't even know that person driving. Might be I'll be giving Shiloh to somebody who'll treat him even worse than Judd Travers. Now that Shiloh's come to trust me, here I am getting ready to send him off again. I feel like there's a tank truck sitting on my chest. I can't hardly breathe. I got one day to decide what to do with Shiloh, and nothing I can think of seems right. I hear Shiloh making noise, up on the far hill in his pen. Not now, Shiloh, I whisper. You've been as good as gold all this time. Don't start now. Can it be he knows what I'm fixing to do? Then I hear a yelp, a loud yelp, then a snarl and a growl, and suddenly the air is filled with yelps, and it's the worst kind of noise you can think of. It's a dog being hurt. I leap out of bed, and I thrust my feet in my sneakers, and with the shoelaces flying, I'm racing through the kitchen towards the back door. A light comes on, and I can hear Dad's voice saying, "Get a flashlight." But I'm already out on the back porch and running up the hill. There are footsteps behind me, and Dad's gaining on me. I can hear Shiloh howl like he's being torn in two, and my breath becomes shorter and shorter, trying to get there in time. By the time I reach the pen, Dad's caught up with me and he's got the flashlight turned towards the noise. The beam searches out to the pine tree, the fencing, the lean-to, and I see this big German shepherd, mean as nails, hunched over Shiloh there on the ground. The shepherd's got blood on its mouth and jaw, and Dad takes another step forward, leaps over the fence, same way it got in, and takes off through the woods. I unfasten the wire next to the pine tree, legs like rubber, hardly holding me up. I kneel down by Shiloh. He's got blood on his side, his ear, a big open gash on one leg, and he don't move, not an inch. I bend over, my forehead against him, my hand on his head. He's dead, I know it. I'm screaming on the inside. Then I feel his body sort of shiver, and his mouth's moving just a little, like he's trying to get his tongue out to lick my hand. And I'm bent over, there in the beam of Dad's flashlight, bawling, and I just don't even care. And that's where we stop today. It's like the worst stopping place ever. We all want to know what's going to happen, because now Dad knows too, Ma and Dad. And now Shiloh's hurt. And oh my goodness, can you imagine if he has to take Shiloh back to Judd and now he's hurt and he knew he had him? Ooh, I would not want to be the one talking to Judd. Okay, so Teach Me Tuesday. So comment down, I think it's down below. Is this how YouTube works? Okay, so comment and tell me something that you would like to teach me, if you could teach me something. Some of you might need to teach me how to work YouTube. I'm not very good at this. And then here's my email if you would rather email it, and I'll put that in the description. Remember, I learned something new there too. And you could also send it to me on Class Dojo if that is easier. Okay, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.